Good afternoon and welcome to From Someone Who Knows. This is a weekly segment we do every week on Thursday afternoons where you get a little bit more of the story than you can on Channel 19. We do our best to bring you content and stories on air, but we're under time constraints here. But on our digital From Someone Who Knows, you're going to get a lot more. And this week, we're going to share with you our conversation. Our Ashley Holder had a one-on-one conversation with the new Browns head coach, Todd Monken. He was with the Browns back in 2019. Most recently, he was the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. With the Browns' struggle on offense, this makes a whole lot of sense that this is where the hire went. And when we talk about From Someone Who Knows, that's why we bring you these interviews. Whether it's a tragic situation and you're hearing from someone who has been through it, from someone who knows, boy, we certainly hope this is a new head coach, first-time head coach, who knows what to do to get the Browns back to a winning tradition. That is, of course, the hope and has been the hope for all of the carousel of coaches that have been through Berea in the past couple of decades. So without further ado, let's get you to our one-on-one interview with the new Browns head coach, Todd Monken, as he was introduced shortly after he was introduced on Tuesday.
All right, Coach, congratulations and welcome back to Cleveland. My first question is, what was so appealing about taking your first head coaching job back in Cleveland?
Well, when I was here in 19, you could see how special this place could be, starting with ownership, like the commitment of Dee and Jimmy Haslam to building a consistent winner, and not just by talk, but by resources, investing in staffing, investing in players, investing in facilities. You could see their commitment and their drive, and that's where it all starts.
We saw a fun interaction between you and Shador Sanders last week, and we got a little bit of a sample size of Shador and Dylan Gabriel. What excites you most of working with those two young quarterbacks as well as the rest of the quarterbacks room?
Well, I think you've got two young players that still have a long way to go in terms of development, and that's part of the learning curve in the NFL. And then you've got a player like Deshaun, who's coming back from injury and at one time was a Pro Bowl player and an elite player in this league, that we would love to tap back into that, let alone with Dylan and Shador. I mean, I'm excited. I'm ready to get going.
You know how passionate this dog pound fan base is. Only 8 wins in the last 2 seasons. What is your message to fans saying, you're the guy to turn this franchise around?
Well, I'm not a big self promoter. And at the end of the day, like I would say, let's just wait and see the finished product. And rather than putting a cap or a floor in terms of where we are or where we're going to go, so let's let it play out. And I came here for that reason. I came here for the opportunity to build this into and help build this into a consistent winner.
Have you been able to talk to any of the players so far on the team? If so, what's been the reaction from them?
Well, like any, I have had a chance to talk to a number of the players, either by phone or they've stopped into my office. And like all of them, they're cautiously optimistic. Like any change, they're optimistic of where we can go. It's just the nature of what we're doing. But all players want to do is get developed to make the most money they can make and give them a chance to win on a consistent basis. Because there's nothing like the locker room after a win. I mean, let's just say it like it is. How do you develop your players to make the most money, and how you put yourself in a position to celebrate together in the locker room after a win?
Well, you said your favorite place was being here in Berea in the office. This is your team now. What is next on the agenda to get this thing rolling, to get this thing going?
I'll finish hiring the staff. I mean, that's on the front burner. We've got to continue to put together an elite staff. That's where it starts. It connects with our players and it understands we're in the development business. Putting together systems that our players are able to play fast and free and let their talent shine.
For the fans that don't know you, we saw you up there. You were showing a lot of emotion, whether that was crying, that was happy, that was a little bit of cursing. You got a lot of, expression already. What is the things that you want the fans to know about you most of who Todd is?
Oh, you'd have to ask my wife who I really am. I don't have any idea. I mean, I just know that I don't take any job for granted, especially this job. Like I said, I mean, if you don't think it's 4th and 1 every day, then don't run to that smoke. If you don't understand what it takes to play and function at a high level, then I think the best way to put it is, if you love football, you'll love being a part of this organization. If you don't, then you won't.
All right, Coach, that's all I have for you. Thanks so much, and congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yep, yep.
Really nice interview there with our Ashley Holder from our sports department with the brand new head coach for the Cleveland Browns, Todd Monken. I think right away in watching the press conference that he held, even let a couple of expletives out during the press conference in a good way. You see that this is completely different from Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski was here. All the way across. He said the same things in news conferences. We need to get better. We need to play better. We need to do this better. That was just who Kevin Stefanski is. That is not who Todd Monken is. There's a fire there, and we will see a completely different head coach, at least in the demeanor on the sidelines for the Cleveland Browns. I think a lot of fans are going to find that refreshing. We're going to take a quick break. We have more. Jimmy Haslam was, of course, at the announcement, the introduction of Todd Monken. He did a little interview there on the side, and he talked a little bit about moving the team to Brook Park and what the construction plans look like, and a little bit into the timeline. That's very interesting. Even though there's a couple of lawsuits still hanging out there, it doesn't seem to deter Jimmy Haslam. You'll hear from him coming up right after the break. And welcome back to From Someone Who Knows. I guess you could call this our Browns edition. We've heard from the brand new head coach for the Cleveland Browns, Todd Monken, and his interview with our Ashley Holder. But Jimmy Haslam was also at the announcement and took some time with the media afterwards, fielding a lot of questions in a bunch of different directions. But of course, whenever Jimmy Haslam is in front of the cameras, you have to ask him about the new stadium plans in Brook Park. And there's earth being moved. We've seen heavy equipment already in Brook Park. They've been given a couple of building permits, but there are still a couple of lawsuits hanging out there that need to be finalized before they can go full bore on construction plans. And he does address that topic. So let's take a listen now to Jimmy Haslam from this past Tuesday. And again, he is someone who knows.
All right, good afternoon. I'll just make a couple of remarks. I thought Andrew did a really nice job in the introduction for Coach Monken. But I can't tell you how excited we are to have Monk in the building. And I think that you probably got a little taste of him there. But I think it was obvious we were looking for a strong leader, someone who would hold the players accountable, someone who was tough, had a great work ethic, and quite frankly had experience. And when you combine that with the fact that he's won with the following quarterbacks, Nick Mullins, Jameis Winston, Stetson Bennett IV, and Lamar Jackson, all of whom have entirely different skill sets. And he's won running the ball, he's run passing the ball, made Todd a really attractive candidate. So excited to have him in the building. I think he's off to a good start building and rebuilding the staff. And I really, truly believe that good things are ahead. So happy to take any questions you have.
Jimmy, could you shed light on the future of Jim Schwartz?
Yeah, I think this. First of all, I think Todd made it clear. Andrews made it clear. I think I made it clear back on January 5th. We think the world of Coach Schwartz. I think Jim and Jim's future is a subject for another day.
And just like I'd asked Todd about that, do you guys feel like, regardless of what happens with Jim, you will still have one of the most dominant defenses in the NFL, and you can assure your players of that as well?
I do. I feel really good. We have really good players, okay, and it starts there. It obviously it helps to have a great coordinator and a great staff. We also have a great staff, and I think Jim would tell you the four leaders of the O-line, linebackers, or D-line, linebackers, cornerbacks, and safeties are all outstanding coaches. So we're excited moving forward.
Jimmy, why isn't this? Why can't you shed light on what's going to happen with Jim now?
Those conversations are ongoing. We'll talk about that at a later date. Today is to introduce Todd Monken as new head coach.
Jimmy, when did you, along the process, begin to think that Monken was rising to the top? And you talk kind of in general terms about the toughness.
Yeah.
What else about it? So when and what?
Yeah, you go through a search process, and I think we started out with like 20, 25 candidates. I think we interviewed 9. I might be off by 1 there. And a search is, it's a little bit like this. It's a little bit of a roller coaster. Somebody drops out, somebody comes in, you get better references or better test results on someone or worse. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster. I would say Todd was at the top of the list the entire time. I think our search lasted 20 days, and I'd say he was in leading the pack or in the front pack the whole time, Terry.
Hey, Jimmy, what did you learn on your other coaching searches that affected you picking?
Well, first of all, I didn't pick him. Okay, we picked him. All right, but I say that we, capital we. And I want to thank Andrew and our team in terms of process. And process is extremely important in these searches because they're very emotional. There are all kinds of information out there, and all due respect, a lot of it not accurate. And so by having an organized, disciplined process, which we stuck to, and I think the first coach, whoever hires the first coach or the second coach, is not necessarily the winner. 2 years from now, nobody will remember whether Todd was the 7th or 8th coach hired, whatever he was. What's count is, did we get the right guy? And I think our team laid out a good process, and I think we were disciplined throughout that process the entire time up to last Wednesday when we announced Todd as our head coach.
Jimmy, you talked about his experience with the quarterbacks, and obviously Andrew before had mentioned whoever you guys hired as head coach would have a lot of input there. Like, how confident are you with Todd's experience that he can help give a long-term answer at that position?
Like highly confident. Now Andrew's got to help him. We need players, but I'm highly confident.
How much did players interactions you have with players over the course of the process? I mean, Miles, Denzel, any of the scene, the veteran, leader.
Yeah, I'll be honest, during the process, and Andrew might have been a little bit different, I didn't talk to any players, but JW, who's in the back of the room there, and myself interviewed 30 or 40 players post season and post the announcement of Kevin. And I think we got really good feedback offensively and defensively about what was needed.
Two of the attributes that have been just repeated with Todd Monken is accountability and player development. Why were those two so important to this organization specifically, to you guys in this search?
Well, I think all of us who have run organizations understand you have to have accountability. And as I mentioned, when JW and I interviewed or spent time with 30 or 40 of our players, if you said, give me one common word, is we need more accountability. So that stuck with us. And then player development, I believe we'll have the youngest team next year in the NFL. So obviously you need to have somebody who appreciates and is good at player development.
Jimmy, Todd was the first external candidate that you guys interviewed. Was that just logistics?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't tip off who you were heading to?
Yeah, and you remember you're dealing with lots of things. You're dealing with the Rooney Rule, okay? You're dealing with teams in the playoffs. The NFL has a much more controlled process than they've ever had before. As you'll remember, we were dealing with severe weather. So we were dealing with lots of different things. I wouldn't read the fact that we hired Todd it was because he was the second guy we interviewed. That's how it fell out.
How did you clear after you fired Kevin that you expected this team was going to win more than 8 games the last 2 years? So even though, as you said, you anticipate having one of the younger teams, is the expectation that this team's going to win a lot more this year than it did last year?
Well, let's be careful with a lot more, Daryl. But do I expect we'll win more games? I do. And I think we'll have a better team, better football team. And I think it'll be what's Terry say? They're ugly to watch sometimes. We're not going to be ugly to watch, okay? And I actually take that seriously. I mean, we want it to be a fun team to watch, a team that plays hard, plays smart, and most of all wins.
Todd's got a lot of personality. I mean, up there today, he cried, he was joking, he was cursing. What do you think, how do you think that influences coaching style? What do you make of his personality?
You know, I think players, and really all of us, want to see real guys. And what you saw today, that's how Todd is. It wasn't like, well, he's not really, he might cuss a little more, but that's really what Todd is like, okay? And you see the emotion, you see the faith, you see the drive, the work ethic, the confidence. What you saw for the 25 minutes he was up there today, that's Todd Monken.
If you mentioned the process and you mentioned the tests, and you guys, I think, took some grief for how you conduct your process. Do you think, first of all, do you think it's that different than what everybody else does in the league?
I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea.
And what do you like about the way that you do it that includes the tests and asking guys to do, fill out?
Yeah, I think you have to be really careful to just weight everything on the interview, okay? Because sometimes strong personalities sell better than other personalities. And I think when we put a lot of confidence in references, and we probably had 30 references on everybody, and obviously you put more confidence in some references by how high they are up the totem pole, okay? So I think that's important. I think the testing we put them through is important, the body of work, and then the interview. And those are the four things we didn't short circuit, everybody did the same, and I think it served us well.
The Crews are about to start digging the hole for the dome. How concerned are you with lawsuits still pending? The lawsuit over unclaimed funds, the lawsuit filed by former Mayor Kucinich.
Yeah, let's put it this way. 4 weeks from yesterday, we're going to start the largest construction job in Cuyahoga County history. So I think that would tell you how confident we are.
And how important is it too? Because with the Crew getting that Olympics there, how important is it to have the dome here? Hopefully get some of those.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody read it, but the Olympics are actually going to take place in Columbus, Ohio, which seems a little strange that they're in Los Angeles, but there's so many soccer games, they need lots of venues. And so Columbus will have somewhere between 4 and 8 Olympic soccer games. And I just think that shows you with world-class venues what opportunities you will have. We will have that starting in 29 with new Huntington Bank Stadium.
Amy, 2 questions real quick. First of all, what did you make of Myles Garrett's reaction, and have you talked to him ever since he posted that thing on Instagram? That's my first question. My second question is going to be about Deshaun Watson, so I want to make sure to sweep that into.
Yeah, listen, I love Myles, okay? I haven't talked to him since the day after the season, but I'm highly confident Myles will come in here and break the sack record again and be the defensive player. He hadn't been named, but I'll be shocked if he isn't, and will be a leader of our team.
And then the Deshaun Watson question is, do you guys feel like that Deshaun Watson is healthy? You have a potentially 3-time Pro Bowl caliber quarterback to offer to Todd Monken as he evaluates your quarterback room.
Yeah, I think somebody asked a question about quarterback today, and I think Todd knows a little bit from playing us, but really, he's an offensive coach, and he'll start looking at that, and that'll be Todd's call. We have 3 quarterbacks on the roster, and we'll let Todd give us advice, and he and Andrew will work from that.
Two more. We're going to go Jason, we're going to go Tony.
Jimmy, I know we're doing Brown today, but Giannis obviously is a talking point in the NBA. Do you expect the Giannis trade?
I would say this, Jason. Giannis is, I don't know, top 3, top 4 player in the world. He brought Milwaukee its first championship in 50 years, several years ago. And he's a really good person, too. He's no problem. He's a great leader, tries hard. And I think Giannis and the Bucks, and this goes back to before we were involved, have always worked closely to see what's best for Giannis and what's best for the Bucks, and we'll continue to do so.
What's a successful trade look like?
I can't. That's a question for John Horse.
Todd said he wanted to keep the same defensive system. You made reference to all the good assistant coaches you've had on defense. Should we assume the Fake will be back definitively?
Yeah, we would hope so. I can't say definitively, but we would hope to have, by and large, we have a couple of free agents, the same players, okay, which is a great place to start, right? And then the same basic coaching staff.
Thank you, guys.
Great. Thanks,
And
everybody.
there you have it. Jimmy Haslam's comments after the introduction of Todd Monken. You might be curious as to why they were asking about the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, the Haslams are partial owners of the Milwaukee Bucks, and they were involved in some trade talks with the trade deadline coming up in about almost 2 hours from now. in the NBA. But that's not what we were talking about. We were trying to give you more of an insight, let you hear in their own words from someone who knows about football, and that's Todd Monken. He's our new head coach. He is offensive minded, and that has, of course, been one of the largest struggles for the Cleveland Browns. The defense has been absolutely phenomenal, led by Myles Garrett, Grant Delpit, and others, the new rookie linebacker who was phenomenal this year. That's not the problem. Offense has been the problem for a number of years now, and do they have the fix? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, we do this from Someone Who Knows show every Thursday at 12:30. There are past episodes. There's your QR code. Unless you're watching on the phone, we understand you might be. But if you're watching on one of our other platforms, maybe on 19 News Plus on your television, there is the QR code. We span all kinds of topics on From Someone Who Knows. Some of them are tragic, some of them are humorous, but this one had to do with your Cleveland Browns. So be sure to tune in to past episodes. And with that, we've got a busy day on 19 News Plus. We will have a 1 o'clock news conference with the situation out in Arizona. Susan Guthrie, who is still missing and presumed kidnapped. Now that a ransom letter is out, we expect a 1 o'clock news conference from the county sheriff out there. And then 2 o'clock, we'll have a weather stream. And then 2:15, Cuyahoga's Most Wanted. Hope you can tune in for actually all of those. Until then, I'm Dan DeRosa with 19 News. This has been From Someone Who Knows.